All right, moving this over here. So, howdy everybody. It's Tuesday. Time for some magic. Uh, we are going to be doing some Aetherdrift drafting. Aetherdrift drifting? Aetherdrift drifting. Um, but before we do Aetherdrift drifting, uh, we had a stream earlier today, along with an article that went up yesterday, going into detail about not our next upcoming set. We have a Return to Khans Dragonstorm set that is coming out in a couple months here. That's this weekend. We're going to be getting a bunch of information about that from the Pro Tour. We're taking a short preview look at June's release, and I'm going to talk about it because it's way too interesting for me to not talk about. Malvin, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it. Because the upcoming release, not in April's, end of April's release, but in June, is our Final Fantasy Magic release. This is, going to be, with the changes made, in the releases that have come up, this is going to be a standard legal set that comes out in June, covering Final Fantasies 1 through 16, that I am just, like, infinitely hyped up about. The stuff that they've shown off is some singular card previews, some deck previews, some mechanics previews. We're not going to be getting any more information past this, for a while, because Cons, this weekend, Cons starts out as our, like, you know, like, hey, this is the next upcoming set. We're going to have some real information and then, like, previews starting a few weeks later. But, yeah. You know, I should probably... But yeah, so I'm going to use this article as my framing device, talk about this more with some of the information that was brought up during the stream, that wasn't just like cards, but like stuff they talked about, as well as article stuff from like the IGN article and other articles that were placed on Wizard's site, because there's a lot of really cool stuff. Starting here with, we're going to pull up the first card in this article, just as a preview of like a fun mechanical bit of a card that is matching flavor with a friend that we know from Final Fantasy. Tonberry here is going to get you, is going to come at you with a knife. But it's going to take a little while. It comes in tapped, it has a stun counter, so it has to take 2 turns to approach. It has to take 2 steps forward. And so you get to see like this is our first little preview bit, and what I love just immediately on our first card is like flavor of Tonberry. Tonberry will take 1 step towards you. Tonberry will take another step towards you, and then Tonberry will get you with knife. 2 power is obviously not grudge level kill, but first strike death touch sure isn't being stopped. Salamander is pretty correct for Tonberry. Like, Tonberries are a weird creature. We have, like, more about them in 14 and different games. Thing I'm going to note on this card, because we're looking at Tonberry, take a look in the bottom left, down where you would see the, like, card, like, number. It says, like, U0122. It has FF5 down there. This is going to be on all the cards we have, where it notes what we're representing. Tonberry first appeared in Final Fantasy V. Hello, welcome. Yeah. So Tonberry was not the first card they showed off earlier today. When we get to that, I'll call it out. But I just want to kind of go through the stuff in here because I want to show off what is making me really excited flavor-wise, and what is making me really excited, like, on a lot of different levels here. Like, you know, seeing a quite playable aggressive one-drop that's the worst top deck in the world, but boy howdy is it coming at you with a knife. Holding my plush Tomberry up to the screen so they see they're famous now. That's great. Yeah, welcome, Doc.
How you doing?
Doing great.
I feel like it's the positioning of what Tomberries can do here, as the earliest that it can attack is as a 2/1 on turn 3, is I don't know if this is actually reasonably aggressive.
No, it's aggressive in a different way. It is a 1 mana investment that attacks for 2 power. A couple turns later. Tonberry, well, if you want to see larger numbers, we'll be seeing those. A bit I'm going to note here, since it's mentioned up here in the article, there's some extra information they talked about in the stream, and I feel like it's good to elaborate on so that y'all get to know it.
I'm pointing over there on the left, by the way. That's the Warrior of Light.
That's them.
Yet another point for me.
That's the Warrior Light. That's them. I'm still a little, I don't know. Does Cecil count as 2 cards?
I mean, didn't we discuss that double-faced cards don't?
It's a weird one, I think. I can't argue for it because I'm the one who would benefit, so I can't make any argument on it.
I think what it is that what I would probably do it is that if it's the same character on both sides, no. But if someone guessed both sides of it and they're technically different characters, like Garland and Chaos,
like if we were happen to see
yes.
that.
If that existed, I don't know if that would be a real thing.
The thing I want to note is that this says we're covering mainline Final Fantasies. When this was first brought up in the marketing, it was a question of what does that mean? Because
what they mean, as far as we can tell, is if it's got a number in the title, then
this is not as far as we can tell. This is stated on stream explicitly with examples. This is 1 through 16, the numbered games 1 through 16. There are 16 games. This is not 10-2. This is not After Years. This is not 13-2. This is not Revenant Wings. This is not Type 0. This is not etc. It is not Tactics. It is 1 through 16. They talked about it as basically if we don't set a line, we will make a set.
They could make more than that. Yeah.
Like we will make a set with 1,200 cards covering 40 games, and it will be no cohesion. And so they set a line for themselves because they're like, damn it, we need a line. So the line was 1 through 16. Exactly.
If Final Fantasy XI gets a single card representing it, and only a single card, you better fucking believe that it'll be Shantato. Don't worry.
So like there are a couple like kind of funky exceptions to this in the sense that they talk about FF7 and the moments, cards, events, things that represent 7 in this set will be PS1 7. But they're not going to not use remake, rebirth, visuals, looks, such, because like we have really good character models and things like that. Like we're going to be using that stylation, but they do specifically.
For what it's worth,
they did like say
the
it's
rebirth
like
and remake. The rebirth and remake and rebirth stuff is incredibly accurate to the original concept art of 7. So
absolutely, and like when we get to Terra here very quickly, we'll actually see like kind of interesting takes on that. But yeah, so we talk about how many of the cards we have in here. Not important. We got our set symbols. I love little Chocobo for Commander. It's very cute.
I do feel like it's irresponsible for them to have the little Chocobo over there and then possibly not have the Chocobo Dungeon Chocobo as a card. That little Chocobo is Omega's archenemy, okay? Fuck Shinryu. That Chocobo has fought him more than anyone else.
Don't you worry, Game Face. We'll be showing off every card at this point. I just want to take a look at. I want to talk a lot about this because I want to talk a lot about. Like this is really exciting to me. first thing that we showed off yesterday was these 4 commander decks. They specifically have gone with a set of 4 EDH decks that are game representative. So we have we've got Terra, the FF6 deck. This is specifically calling out that it is a deck based around the World of Ruin. So the idea with Terra's card here is that, like, we want, like, party building and recursion to be a main mechanic. That's why we have,
also talked about how they really debated who was actually going to be the front face commander of this.
They were
they
very
almost
back and
did
forth.
Celis instead.
Yeah. To the point where I assume Celis will be the second
almost certainly
commander in this. But the idea is that, like, the basis of this deck is going to be, like, that's why we get to have, like, black in the mana in the like mana of the deck. These 4 cards we're looking at are, I think, going to be the loosest flavor-wise, because they are cards that have to hold an EDH deck together. So
yeah,
Terra here is, like, a little...
Terra lacking blue is weird in, like, the abstract, you know?
It is also said very directly, all 4 of these cards that are the face cards are, like, there are at least 1 more copy of them in the main set of, like, a different moment.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't get, like, Esper Terra, that'd be wild. So yeah, we have
or Grixis Terra almost.
Sorry,
like,
when I say Esper,
Jeskai.
When I say Esper Terra, I don't mean color combination.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, you mean right? Sorry.
Yeah, I do not mean the color combination blue, white, black. I mean a different art piece.
Yeah, the other Esper.
Yeah, the other Esper. So we've got Terra. I'm gonna move quick. We've got Final Fantasy.
There's one thing about Terra, for what it's worth to mention as well on top of this, because you were going to talk about it a second ago.
Yes.
So the art on Terra here is obviously, it's not quite the Amano design, and it's not like her Battle Sprite design either. It's kind of a merger of the two.
Specifically, the like green hair color on this design is actually a unique, like, setup for the art.
It's in Dissidia as well, for what it's worth. But...
Yes. They talked about FF6 in particular because they're doing a whole deck on it. Like, they had to do, like, you know, FF6 being a SNES title, like, it's like, okay, we want to be pixel accurate, and so, you know, that sort of thing. We want to be accurate to the art, but, like, there's only so much concept art and stuff we have for these, so, like, they get to stretch their legs a bit.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
As far as concept art goes, for Terra, they have a ton, because Amano loved drawing Terra.
Here's our alt art Terra as well. We have alt arts of, I think, all the all the like, big legendary characters we've had here. This is, again, the, like, Terra Commander card. Like I said, I think that these 4 are because they're EDH, like, front-facing cards, they have to be more towards a... We're going to get into the more flavorful card effects once we get through the back of this. So they went with 6. They went with 7. 7 was when they decided that they were going to do EDH decks based on games. 7 was the very obvious first one. The other very obvious first one. The other very obvious first one that they said was just like, look, these were locked in immediately. 7 and 14. No question. Yep. Like, so like they were just like, look. You know, 7 is obviously huge. We have Remake, Rebirth. We have it has its giant tail, but 14 is also huge.
14 is going to be the Square Enix's primary moneymaker from about 6 years ago to the foreseeable future.
Yeah. So, and then following that up, we get a couple different eras. We get PS2 era with 10 and Titus here, and then of course with Terra we have SNES era.
SNES.
It would not surprise me if they thought about 4 versus 6 here, and had that conversation. 10 doesn't surprise me at all.
Not at all. They mentioned as well specifically that 10 and 6 were also, like, personal favorites of the design team and stuff. So
They talked about on the stream, one of the things about the design team was that it was a very large, two, this set's been in development for 4.5 years. Like,
yeah, this one is actually got
this is the longest,
extra long development time.
Yeah. Cloud's card here, again, much more general feeling, equipment liking, and having this like 7 power bit, which is
It's Final Fantasy
yeah,
7.
yeah.
So.
I would hope that the treasure tokens are materia, like visually. I hope that they're little materia.
Given that the Cloud, and we're gonna see it again, does have an equipment theme, it definitely should be materia.
Yeah, so
what is
we have
on there?
Our alt art Cloud as well. You can see the background on these alt arts. They have like the Roman numeral. I didn't notice it until like a specific card. I was like, oh,
it's really hard to notice
right.
Terras because it's just a series of like lines.
Yeah. But yeah, so we have Clouds. We have Titus's card is going to make a lot more sense when we get to is going to not a lot more sense. Titus's card is already, I think, the one that makes the most sense to me in like passing around counters. Is explicitly stated as like hey, we want to have a sphere grid style like build to this, as well as like literally like passing around a blitzball, which I think is like hilarious.
Also, Titus's initial sphere grid has a ton of buffs to begin with, so like he's a very buff focused like half white mage character to start with, so like it perfectly makes sense mechanically why he would have this ability.
Yeah. So we have Titus's, the FF10 deck. They actually had a long talk about who was, again, Celis versus Terra was a long discussion. Titus versus Yuna.
Titus versus Yuna.
Yeah.
That was also a discussion, yeah.
They did end up going with Titus here. I think it's just confirmed based on the card number that Yuna has to be in here as well. So
of course she would. Why
his
cards has Titus Yuna's Guardian as his name.
Yeah.
Why would Yuna not be in the deck?
Yeah. So we have
I'm
Altart
assume
as
that
well.
Yuna will be a white blue creature with a green activated ability.
The thing I'd like to point out, and I'll come back to, is that first ability that moves counters from creatures one to another. You also have proliferate to make counters as well when you connect. And then let's see. So I want to do, and then we have 14. They did talk about having Warrior Light be the face card and decided let's go with an actual character.
Because the idea was like, okay, if we're gonna use the Warrior of Light, we want it to represent the fact that it's your character and you can customize them and stuff like that. And then they got very deep into the weeds of design and be like, this is way too fucking complicated.
Catgirl propaganda, indeed. Ishtola, specifically Shadowbringers Ishtola, is our lead here. We talk about having like a spell casting setup. Again, Ishtola's a little, as a commander for a deck, has a little bit of a vagity, but this is at each end step. If somebody's taken 4 more, lost 4 more life, you draw. That could be from any reason, including her effect to burning yourself to other people doing combat damage.
Other players just doing combat to each other. She will still draw you those cards.
But yeah, we have the alt art on Ishtola as well. But yeah, 14 getting each of these decks is specifically, so this is a commander deck that has 100 cards, about a third, maybe a little more, if I'm comparing this to Doctor Who or Warhammer, are going to be brand new cards. And then the rest of the deck is going to be reprints and like lands that are 100% like art flavor to the deck, which is going to be real exciting to see. Like, hey, are we going to have what sort of picks do we have for cards that would fit into Final Fantasy X deck or 14 deck? What are we going to have for the art on Command Tower? What are we going to have for Sol Ring, right? Are we going to have the Crystal Tower on art in this deck? Probably. Shinra building. Warlock is an outlaw, yes. But yeah, like the World of Ruin, Kefka's Tower would be one as well. That would make sense. So to talk about how they were working with Square, they talked about on stream that the set was designed in English and Japanese concurrently because of how closely they were working with Square Enix. Yep. Like they would have like heavy stand-ups with them and would go back and forth with folks that were really into the idea of, yo, we want to make the coolest set we can for this. So seeing Ishtola in Shadowbringers, like, okay, there have been some games where 14 has been lagging behind. We'll get to a few more that's not lagging behind in here. But yeah, we have Ishtola, and I think our next one is, then we just have a art that I wanted to show because this is our bit that we see from 16 here.
It's 16 Aetherdrift versus 16's Bahamut.
Yes,
so.
Which we're good. We'll be showing. There's no card right now shown off for 16, but there's also like 12 doesn't have a card in the current shown off. So anyway,
I believe we've already. Have we seen art of Clive, but not actually his card yet? I forget.
Not
if
that I've
things
seen.
Released ages ago.
We also have. This is a starter deck that has Sephiroth and Cloud. The images on these, the art for these we had, it's a single image split for this too. Sephiroth on the left has the Massacre Worm text. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 on come in. And when a creature dies, 1/1 counter. This is like, we've had this a couple times. We don't have this all the time, but this is made as like a very easy intro deck.
This does mean that you know for a fact that Aerith has 2 toughness somewhere.
Somewhere Aerith has to have 2 toughness, yes.
Yep.
So, yeah. But let's head on down here.
I think I'm sitting pretty by getting first pick and choosing Cloud, and I think I'm probably going to get like 3 points out of just Cloud alone.
Right, I took Sephiroth right behind.
Yeah.
So, I think you might have, I'm going to guess you have it by 1.
I think I've got it by 1, but only by 1.
So let's take a look at...
These are really cool.
This is one of the coolest goddamn things in here to talk about new mechanics. This is a summon that is a saga creature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first thought, what the hell does that mean? Rules-wise, the way this works is it's like a saga. It comes in on 1, the 1 effect happens. At the start of your next turn's main, 2 happens. At the start of your turn after that's main, 3 happens. When the final lore counter is placed on it, it goes to the grave, dies.
This does have the weird effect of Shiva here can only attack once, but I mean that's what
that's
happens with summons in the games. Yeah.
So
not in 10.
In 10 we have like, but that's why we have Heavenly Strike and Diamond Dust call. Yeah. Like, we have our call outs for the attacks there because we have we have a limited like fading, vanishing style creature that only is going to happen for a short period. But it makes a lot of flavorful sense. Ty says this is an uncommon. They said on stream, summons exist at all rarities. So we will have like common summon, which is probably
so like Fat Chocobo will be a common summon.
Something like that. But if we go back to, if you remember the Titus we had, that at the beginning of combat, move a counter from a creature to another creature.
I can't wait to put more counters onto just other garbage. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, we're Titus is eating that lore. Titus knows how to keep a summon around. So yeah, these are like going to be the idea here with Shiva, and I'm going to show the alt art. This is FF10 Shiva specifically. Is that like we have a very powerful card that's only going to be sticking around for a short while, almost Planeswalker-esque in a. Like, I'm looking at this, and this is actually like Tameo, Avacyn Restore.
Kind of
tap.
Fun to
draw.
Kind of fun as an initial idea too, because if I remember right, the very, very, very first design for sagas that Richard Garfield came up with was prototype for Planeswalkers first. But right?
But I adore this because I look at this and I see a very flavorful take on summons where it's like, look, you you summon your GF, they do one big thing, and then they're gone. Or like, summons are obviously implemented very differently across games, but in essence, limited time, big usage. So I think this is a neat way, and it's also like, I'm also a fan of creatures with drawbacks. I think that vanishing is not a great mechanic, but I think tying it to something like this makes it a lot more interesting, where like you now have a choice of like, okay, when do I want to deploy Shiva? Am I going like defensive, offensive? Do I have a way to give haste and get extra attacks? Do I have a way of moving counters? Can I proliferate on my opponents? Things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot more interesting ways to work with this, because like, not only does, removing counters from this benefit you for keeping the creature around, it also allows the abilities to continue to activate more times.
Yeah.
Because once you put that second counter on. It's worth noting, because this is going to trip a lot of people up if you've never played with sagas and removing counters. Removing a counter does not cause a saga ability to trigger. It's only when you add a counter.
Is Shiva a Mole Drifter?
Does not fly, so no. I think Mole Drifters have to fly.
I think we're on we're on like a radical design Mole Drifter, but I think like we're a couple boxes removed if we're on that like 3x3 chart.
This is at the very least in the chaotic neutral space.
Yeah, at best. We're not 2 cards, so I don't think we're Mole Drifting. It's not 1 card, it's like a card for each tapped creature your opponent controls, and the stun counter means, like, unless you're targeting the same creature multiple times, you can have 2 creatures tapped. Like, you can get to that point. Or tap, stun, untap. No, there'll only be 1 tapped from the effect when you go to 3, because of timing on that. But yeah. So yeah, I think that summons are a really interesting, like, hey, powerful short-term effect. Also, but really, they're flavorful is the bigger fit for me.
I feel like Saga Creatures is like the most flavorful possible setup that they could have done for summons. Yeah.
This card has flavor text so that the type line is moved slightly above and the 4/5 can fit there. It means they could have a text box, like maybe a keyword, but we don't here. Moving along, another thing we have in this set, you can see down here, double face cards. Hey, Rat.
That's him.
So
that's the Rat Man.
Double face cards are an obvious inclusion when you think about it in like for a second in here. But also the inclusion of Emmett as a full-on card is another one of those, like, 14 is getting a real amount. 14 exactly. That's so funny. I wonder what that's about. So fun fact about that effect. Obviously, having 14 cards in your graveyard to transform Emmett Selk is like a FF14. That's also
the number that they need to recombine to have the to undo the sundering.
Yes, there's the 14 shards and the convocation of 14 that Emmett here was a member of. You'll notice Emmett's type line is Elder Wizard. I love that it's Elder Wizard.
Using Elder as the term for Almaratine is really fun.
That's so good. This dude, if we check the backside, we have Hades, Sorcerer of Eld, who has just Yogswill while active.
Yes, just straight up it has Yogswill while on the field, which is kind of a fun, like, all right, those 14 cards in your grave, can you win off of those?
Yeah. Well, especially, like, it's also, again, incredibly flavorful for Hades here because, like, Hades is attempting to...
He sunk his cost.
Yeah.
He's trying to do his stuff, like, at the last second here. That's what he's done and what he's prepared. This is it. This is the last moment for him, so...
Yeah. So, like, Emmett's card is both... Also, like, just very strong looking on front face of 2/4 Vigilance with loot on come in or attack. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Miss Yara brings up a really good point on the card. You might not know who Emmett Selk is if you haven't played 14. He's a character from the 3rd expansion of the game. So, like, fairly deep within, and if you're not familiar with an MMO, like, who the hell's this guy? But the text of the card itself is still a congruent real card. Like, hey, we have like looting, draw, discard, fill up your graveyard. Once you hit giant threshold, all of a sudden you're up to you flip huge, and now you've got cast from grave, which is like Yogg's Will is one of the best things you could be doing, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, they talked about during the stream again. I'm gonna be bringing up a lot of these facts from there because, like, if you've read articles or just seen the spoilers, you might not know about all these bits. Down in the bottom left again, we've got the FF14 note telling us Emmett's from 14. During playtesting, they had a large team with a lot of folks who, like, you'd have folks who really know the SNES titles, or like they played 10 and 12, or like their favorite game is 5 or 3, and they have a ton of knowledge about 3, but they don't know about 11. They might not know about like 13 and such. And they'd see a card and be like, well, who's this guy? Where's that Moogle from? Like, what's that? And people would explain that, and it's like, well, why don't we put that on the card as a little bit of like, okay, folks who come at this set are going to come at it with like, hey, I love FF6. Hey, I love FF9. Hey, 12's my favorite Final Fantasy. Hey, but like, there's gonna be a lot of cards they don't know, but maybe recognize as a Chocobo, and it's like, okay, well, where's this from, or where's this cool card I play? So.
Yeah, so they added this little like notifier to it, which is appreciated because not only is it, you know, figuring out where these are from, there are some individual like things and elements of the series that pop up all the time, so you want to know exactly which particular iteration is this from, like this being the Final Fantasy X Shiva, you know?
Yeah. So,
and that's not immediately obvious kind of just on looking at them.
So we got Emmett.
As I didn't recognize which Shiva that was until it was pointed out to me.
We also have Garland here as another one of our flip cards, who has our excellent pose, excellent cape, excellent look here. Very like an aggressive creature, 3/2 with the DRC text, prowess surveil 1. He's here to knock you all down. He's here to kill chaos. But also returns from the other side. They call it in here. It's like, you know, cool second form boss fight. Garland, who flips over into chaos from grave with, I think, a hilarious ability of like the chaos loop never ends. So that's a lot of fun.
Expensive to flip up though. Goddamn.
Well, it's expensive because it's from grave.
Yes, I know.
So, like, you know, that's a...
It is a flashback, just swinging it back, yeah, so...
If I have exactly one creature from a spin-off, it should be Jack. Yeah. They said none of the main set stuff was anything but 1 through 16. They did not say that as a thing for, like...
They didn't say that for the commander decks, right?
Well, the commander decks are 6, 7, 10, 14, so they're on their games specifically. But, like, the secret lair stuff, or... They talked about having some like Christmas time release stuff also. So, but yeah, so we have Garland, and then also on our flip cards. Nope. Oh no, we aren't on. Let me move over to our other flip card. Yeah, here we go. Thank God, Cecil's art's so good. Cecil Dark Knight, who Cecil as a character early in the game is a Dark Knight with a very powerful attack, Darkness, that burns your life.
1 mana 2/3 death touch.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes. But anytime Cecil
strongest 1-drop ever, maybe? Like, oh my god.
Well, like, yeah, because like, okay, we have we have Cecil who, like, whenever Cecil deals damage, you lose that much life. So you're like, Cecil's
a
draining
pump and a half.
Yeah, but when we hit half life, we flip, we go to Mount Ordeals, and we get Cecil.
Now a 4/4 life toucher that makes your team indestructible.
Yes. So like the opposite side of Cecil here, I love flavor wise that this Cecil doesn't give indestructible to
himself. Yeah.
Like, I think that's like really good here. This is such a wild 1-drop that like obviously if this flips and goes to Paladin, it's nuts. But like if this hits you twice and then your opponent like bolts it or something, it's like, oh, I just took 4 from that. Like, you know, they're
Yeah, it
this
does
is not
Vexing Devil yourself.
this is
bit,
not
you
a
know,
this is not a it's not without cost. It's just also goddamn. He'll have a handful
Yeah,
of
you want to
them.
talk about an aggressive black 1-drop though.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, compared to yeah, darkness does 10% of your starting life total by default on
Technically,
in standard. It hits for 2 because it's whenever Cecil deals damage, not dealt damage to.
technically speaking, the backside of Cecil is color identity white. Would this would actually allow you to make a black-white commander deck? wouldn't it,
Yes, because
of it?
the card has that pair identity, black
Yeah.
and white, if you use Cecil. Going back to our other bit here, we also have, just talking about alt arts, they showed off Sin here. Sin is one of my favorite arts that we have here, specifically on this and the other, where we have, like, confronting Sin. We can see the town kind of on the back. Sin as a card is pretty on for flavor, pulling, like, copies from the graveyard. Like, when it comes in or attacks, exile a card at random from the grave and then make a copy of it. You know, Spirit, that's part of Spira's interactions with life and death, and Sin specifically as a being that is eating the dead and reusing them.
Yeah, it's both creating Xenarkand and also creating Sin Spawn and creating like
Yes.
This ability actually is a lot of Final Fantasy X's just
But-
entire jam.
But the alt art on it's killer. Because we see on the top again, we also see that like city on the top, and like it's great. Repeat this process is just keep going. Like the Sin 7-7, yeah, this, and then we got Cecil going down here. We do have alt art on Cecil as well. Cecil Dark Knight and Redeem Paladin for each of these. Oh, big whale dog. What do we have past Cecil? Oh!
This little guy.
So this is one of the earliest cards they showed in the stream, and this talks to the depth that the set goes, I think. I think having Stiltskin as a character from 9 shows that we're going very deep in the pool to, like, if we're doing Mognet. Vivi in the corner. Yes. Vivi spotted. Flavor text is, in fact, one of the purchases you could do in 9 from him. But yeah, I think that's the thing with Stiltskin, is just showing how deep we're going for it. But also, the alt art on Stiltskin is like,
It's flawless.
This is just incredible. Lovely. Like, just look, we're traveling. There you go. Yeah. Stiltskin's effect being a donate that draws you a card where you can just like, all right, you know what? I'm selling you this forest for $1. Like or I'm selling you this demonic pact for $1. So a lot of things to be doing with this Moogle friend. This is where we bring up the alt art wood block bits. Okay. So the first card they showed off on stream, very important, incredibly important card to show off. When they pulled up the stream, this is the first thing we saw.
Fiesta.
So I invite you to, if you are just blinded by the art on this, which I am, take a look at the text box, which has just an incredible, just 10,000 needles when you attack, plus 9999. We get to not only did we get to have the Cactuar needles joke, But we also got to have 9999 in a text box for a Final Fantasy set, which is also fairly important.
Yep, quad nines. The most flingable creature ever printed that in a non-silver bordered environment. Basically, this is just legal infinity elemental.
Yeah. Taking a look at the art, if you take a closer look here, you can see Renoa in the bottom right. You can see like the blue and her like weird boomerang weapon. You can also see Irving right there in the front, like getting owned by a million needles.
Irvine mentioned. There he is.
Yeah, right there.
The only time he's gonna
it's Irvine. I found him. Look, if we have Stiltskin, Irvine's gotta make it, right?
I don't think so, dog.
No, he's gotta make it. He's right there.
No chance. Irvine's not getting a card.
Yeah. Hey, when they talked about this on stream, it's like, look, if you're playing a 7-drop and attacking, yeah, you get to kill your opponent. Like, you want to, you get to that point, like, you know, give it trample, or I don't know, swords to plowshare it and gain 10,000 life, or fling it, or yeah, give your Cactuar trample or unblockable. So just incredible. Also get to show off alt art.
Hey, Darksteel Colossus blocks this, no problem.
Yeah.
Also, if it's White Seal, it does kill it in combat. It in fact kills it.
Yeah. Nice to know. 10 needles, 1 power. The Jumbo Cactuar fires 1,000 needles that do 10 damage apiece. Yeah. Yeah, 7 mana is Atraxa, so like whatever. Again, this is a card that says to me, whomever is in control of making this set knows exactly what the correct things to show off are. If this was like frame 1, right? Like, it's Jumbo Cactuar. So, we got Jumbo Cactuar.
The only illegal angle for Cactuars is, in fact, just straight on. So, like, this is still legal. It is still a weird angle for a Cactuar, though.
Yeah. This is the side angle for it. Like, here's our more direct angle. We also have a note down here, obviously, with Irvine and Renoa here, FF8. We could have Jumbo Cactuar from 13 as well. The other thing we have that they showed off was in the place of special guest cards, basically, are these alt art, like rename style cards that, like this one here is using a mono art. This older, this is specifically a older mono art for FF1. We can see Warrior of Light with this, like, the very like wispy helmet. Just lovely. They did say without details, like, we're working with a mono, there's more than just this. But something got in the flavor text on Jumbo Cactuar, is it scan text? Yeah. They have a lot of correct bits like that. The other one of these they showed off, which I think is hilarious, is the Nomura, like, I wouldn't say call it concept art from FF7, but this is like, I've seen
definitely her like character render art.
Yeah,
the illustration that you put around
key art,
to sort of like the key art. Yeah,
it's not exactly the instruction manual, because pulling up the instruction manual, it's actually the 3D model. I went and looked. It's like the 3D model that's in this pose. But yeah, so these are like Godzilla style changes where we have a different name on an extant card. So, that is the bottom of what we have here. Well, it's not the end of what we have for cards. We have a couple more. We also have note that there's 3 secret layers with the set that'll have, I would assume that's where we'll probably have one, like a mono set, and that will be the world's fastest secret layer ever selling.
Oh yeah, no one's playing that. Like, that's going to be, no one is going to be able to own that legitimately. Yeah.
Scalp to hell. The other cards,
Yamano Liliana is still one of the most expensive cards. Like that's not on the reserve list.
Yeah, the Yamano Liliana we were looking at last night averages about 100 still. The like foil pre-release one is like a huge. It's like,
yeah, there's
no sales. But the other cards I want to show off that aren't in this article, but were shown off on stream. Saz's Chocobo. Hello.
Yeah.
Fun notes about this. First, the flavor text on this Chocobo is the data log from 13. As mentioned, they aren't touching 13, 2, or 3, which is why we're not touching like the Chocolina flavor text. But also that Saz's Chocobo here is supposed to be representative of like Chocobos as a gameplay element, where like landfall is specifically within like what Chocobos have. Chocobo also, this one doesn't fly. It's not a black Chocobo. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah.
Chocobo's on the ground. Yeah, they did say that there are a number of Chocobos, enough that they called out like a mechanical identity for them, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what a lovely tiny Chocobo. We also have we have fishing minigame. Fishing minigame's quite important.
JRPG need fishing.
JRPG
That's
need
how
fishing.
It works.
This here is our fishing minigame from 15. They talked about that this is a cycle across at Uncommon, like a side quest card in each color that is a flip card like this. Blue is Blitzball. It's gonna be Blitzball. It's Blitzball. They didn't say it's gonna be Blitzball, but it's Blitzball. It's gonna be Blitzball. It's gonna be Blitzball. Like, and then like, do we have
black or red is triple triad?
So the backside of this,
black.
The backside of this, we get the cooking campsite, because the front side of this is at the beginning of upkeep, play your top card. If it's an artifact or creature, like draw it and then flip this. If you drew put it in your hand, and then make a food. Then we have on the back, so it's like a ramp side. We can see on here a tent with definitely no branding, a cooler with definitely no branding. Don't worry about it.
I mean, there's a lot of that just general feel in Final Fantasy 15 in general.
We also have this is the food token, which we can see the cup noodle.
Mm-hmm.
So
also the burger that that Noctis doesn't like any veggies on and puts it on Prompto's food instead.
Yeah. So there are so many bits of the cards that they've shown off.
I think green is gonna be Chocobo Racing / breeding Chocobos.
Chocobo
is what it is.
Yeah, Chocobo Racing sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is the initial preview that they showed off for this set. And again, this is releasing, pulling up the article again, June 13th is the release date.
Probably be subtly seeing occasional looks at this over the time,
but
until then, and then the big spoiler season right before it.
Yeah, we're not going to be going into this for a while because cons is right around the corner. That is we're going to be seeing cons previews at the Pro Tour this weekend.
The Tarkir set previews.
Yes, the cons, like Tarkir Dragonstorm, I think is the name of the set and proper. But I don't know. What they've shown off here just has me so excited that like the folks in charge and who made this have like an incredible amount of love for this and like strong ideas like mechanically for this. So that has me very happy about like what we have here. Yeah, I assure you, Top Boss, they like directly said that Terra has at least one more card in here. I feel that as well. I feel like the face commanders other than Titus aren't like terribly like character flavor-esque. I think Terra's like more correct for like World of Ruin flavor-esque, but would probably work.
People have said that about Ishtola, but you know what? Here's the thing about Ishtola. You know what the thing she's most like narratively relevant for? It's casting big ass spells that like, solve problems in one go. So like I feel like that she's actually extremely appropriately like mechanically representative.
Yeah.
She will cast a big spell that's a big problem for everyone involved, and it will have fallout for like half of an expansion afterwards.
Cons is happening. Cons is literally Tarkir is literally the next set coming out. It comes out at the end of April or mid-April. It is the next set. It did not get pushed back. You might be thinking of Lorwyn. There was a Lorwyn set that got pushed from 2025 to 2026. But that was pushed back for the unknown set that we still don't have details about at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway. Fishing. JRPG needs fishing. Magic needs fishing.
Yep. Magic is JRPG now.
Yeah.
It just is. There's
Magic will be JRPG now. It's true. All right, let's do some Magic. I mean, pull this up. We can do some Aether drafting. So
8-person pod drifting. You're gonna have to restart the side stream. It's doing the thing where it doesn't actually start up.
Oh, it didn't. Okay, let me.
It happens.
Yeah,
it's not an uncommon thing.
All right, how about there?
There it is. You're good.
Get that before. The Regalia as a vehicle is like they basically said on the stream, like again, a lot of talk on the stream that they talked about. It's like, and I think Stiltskin is the proof of this. If it's like a character you can think of, odds are very high. If it's like a main character, come on, like they're
obviously that car is a main character of Final Fantasy 15.
It's true, but like.
I am so mad that when they did the Gilgamesh introduction in 15, they just made whatever the Gilgamesh 15 is, which sucks. Instead of Gilgamesh being like, I want your car. Your swords or whatever. In this case, I want your car. And just steal your car briefly.
Alright. Because, like, if there's a Stiltskin, there's a Vivi, right? Like, There's no world without.
And if there's a Vivi, there's a strong chance that there's a Steiner as well, and they're going to mechanically interact and be useful together.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at what we're doing here. What do we got?
Oh shit, you're drafting with Ednad, which is Dante backwards.
Ooh, okay. Starting off the races with
The last time I was around, you said that you wanted to build this deck.
Yes. Okay. Medicant Core Guidelight. So power equal to artifacts you control, engines, and when you hit max speed, you copy artifact. I don't. That sucks because Ranger's Refueler is one of the better vehicles in the set.
It's an uncommon though. There's a chance that this will come back up again.
I mean more of like a pushing somebody on my left into a vehicles plan with that. But hopefully this also is a card that fits more in blue-red or blue-green because of the exhaust stuff. So hopefully we find other stuff that's like artifacts with it. I would love to get like, I don't know if we could pull off a full 3-color with it, but like black also would combine super well into this.
Yes.
Lightning Strike, very powerful. Brightfield Mustang, like the worst creature in this set. Let's keep moving. Ooh, all right, hold on.
Lifecraft Engine. Here we go. This is a vehicle that's colorless and needs to play.
Okay, so as a vehicle, choose a creature type. Creatures you control are the chosen creature type. Vehicle creatures are the chosen creature type. Each creature you control the chosen creature type other than this. +1/+. Okay. This is an anthem.
Choose robot.
Yeah, I was gonna say robot. Almost all of the creatures within the Guidelight are robot. Our optimizer here. There's definitely other options in here. But I don't know if optimizer's great for us, but like if we can have Anthem for robots and a lot of robots, if we can find like I would love to find the 1/1 for 1 that makes a buddy on death. That one's one of my favorite. Ooh, hello. Okay. Mountain
There's
View.
also Pilot, if that actually comes up, because Pilot is a choosable option as well.
Yes, like right here. Conspire Captain has a lot of power in both piloting things, much like our interface ace would, but also hands off another anthem. Can we just anthem? How many anthems are good?
Hey, if everything in your deck just gives everything else +1/+1, you know, your deck's probably pretty good.
A couple other cards of note. Stampeding Scurryfoot is one of my like top green commons because of how it plays early and late. Howler's Heavy is better than it looks as a 3/4 for 4. The cycling ability is quite good. The interface ace wants a very specific deck. Don't know exactly. Here it is. This is the card I absolutely wanted. Nesting Bot.
Nesting Bot is extremely primo for this deck for sure.
Is it possible to draft a good deck by only picking the top left card?
We did that once in MTGO.
Yeah.
If I remember right, we got a decent mono white deck.
Yeah, the auto picker in that like has like a balance towards like low end white creatures. Thundering Broodwagon, I have to call out because this card is like nasty good. We played this in our other blue white deck with no green or black mana.
Yep.
The combo was a lot of fun because you can just cycle it and pick it back up. Nibblethopterus is a card I'd also be fine with, just as like this is good filler, tier, evasion, a couple bodies to keep us moving. Nesting Bot is good at being early and like kind of gumming up the board, as well as trying to get us to our speed. Another Thunder Broodwagon. We could try and see the combo. Buccaneer. We've got the Broadcast Rambler, which is a lot of metal. Medicant likes that. This is 2 pieces of metal on come in. It's not great.
True.
But like Interface Ace is a card that I think is either like incredible in your deck or like
Or complete trash.
or just the worst card you've ever seen. 2 Thundering Broodwagons. I could pick this and try to like do the tune-up.
If you
thing
got like
again,
a critical mass of like 3 or 4 more vehicles, Interface Ace would be pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Collision Course.
Collision Course is good.
We also have a couple 2/2 flyers for 3. Lotus Guard Disciple, like, hands off a nice aggressive line. Hull Drifter lets you get in, which is a little more necessary than you'd think in this format. Grim Bobble's quite good.
This is a format with lots of board stalls.
Yeah.
You got 50-card pileups, you know?
This card is our, like, what is blue-white in this. They are very vehicle-focused, artifact-focused. So I'm going to pick up the Drifter. Collision Course is also really good, too, but...
Collision Course is removal.
Yeah. Okay, Quick Welder.
Solid.
Yeah.
Robot is also a, you know...
Yeah,
it's cheaper.
Yeah, like play this, get the Hull Drift on 4, or Rambler on 4. I think with our, like, more metal is also what our deck wants with Medicant Core.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty big on having something like this over, like, Nibblethopterus is obviously also good because it gives you an evasive creature. But, Wreck Remover I think is better than our usual line is for this kind of, like, random artifact body. But I'm not, like, super in on it. Pothole Mole, quite good. Let's get a Lotus Guard Disciple. This thing is quite good at like piloting and like handing off, like being aggressive on a line.
I love the art on Lotus Guard Disciple because in the top right, this is just a bird, and then the bottom left is just a guy. You know, they're completely separate, but it's the same thing.
All right, let's finish up. I'm going to take the Dismal Backwater in case black is a color we're able to get in here. Like I said, I think Brightfield Mustang is... I think this is like the worst creature in the set. And Stall Out isn't much better. We don't have a lot of stuff in here. We have white.
Headlight Optimizer is... adds blue from artifacts or activated abilities. Is a robot.
Yeah.
The Light Show Parry is probably better.
Yeah.
honestly.
We don't have... White is, like, actually quite light in what we have here. If we see a second color that has another playable enough card in it.
I want to see, like, 2 more nesting bots.
Yeah, same here. Maximum overdrive, oil. Let's go take a... Yeah, we can audible, like, fairly easily. Oh, well, all right.
Possession Engine is a pretty good thing to pick up, actually.
So, this is a nice reason to have blue here. Possession Engine on come in steals a creature. That creature can't attack or block, but it still can crew. And it removes our problems. Guidelight Synergist also would love to call out as, like, a very powerful piece for this in particular being a, like, super aggressive flying threat. Trade the Helm is quite good as well. You throw your worst artifact or creature for their best artifact or creature. And if you don't have anything for it, you can always cycle it away. I still am going to go for Mind Control over the Guidelight Synergist. Because this gives us a little bit more interactive elements. We don't have a lot of that right now.
Yeah. Also, it being a vehicle is in and of itself actually something that's useful.
Yes. Verge. Ooh, okay. Here we can pick up the refueler.
Ranger's Refueler is something you were actually interested in picking up, possibly even above Mendicant, so...
Yeah, for me, the reason I would pick it up over Mendicant is because committing to a 2-color card, pick one, pack one, is tough.
Oh, yeah. Tough, yeah, dangerous.
But this card, the power of this card is that we have like a 3/3, like the vehicle itself is kind of bad on the crew 2 for a 3/3. That's really bad rate. But this has turned into a 4/4 permanently and draw a card on that exhaust ability because of the combination of its first text that draws a card on exhaust and then also getting a 1/1 counter and permanently becoming on, making this a very strong card late game. And this is also a very strong engine with other exhaust cards. We don't have
if you
any...
have Quick Welder on the field, Cloudspire Captain.
Hello.
Or on the field, like, this also is a late game, costs blue to play, and then just becomes a 4/4 with a draw a card attached to it for 5.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good, actually.
Cloudspire Captain, having a second one of these means that I'm really wanting to find more small vehicles in the range of Ranger's Refueler. And like things like Nesting Bot to pilot them. We might want to find an ace if we can find something like that to pilot our cards. Quick Welder, actually probably after this
Tranquil
Cove.
Cove for the fixing is good.
The question on the Cove is that we have these double blues up here, and I think we want to be able to have a little bit extra reach on that. Yeah. We're also not competing against the most high impact cards. The stall out is the worst of the like 3 blue commons that are removal spells. We have because there's Flood the Engines, which is kind of a better.
Yeah, that's the card that you'd actually want to play of these.
So Tranquil Cove, hello.
Voyage Home.
All
Here
right.
we go. I think you're on the correct color scheme, actually.
This feels quite good. Star Trek 4 here only needs a few artifacts to be like Sphinx's Rev for X. And if you can get this to like 4 or 3 cost by having like, you know, our Nesting Bot, our Refueler, Medicant, a lot of our friends, this is a refill that keeps you alive and is a card that's like so cheap when it's doing it. So super in on this, having something like that to pay us off. Ride's End, I could use some like removal that has no condition really. Obviously it has the tap condition, but like it can hit anything for 5. The Exile on it's important. The other cards in here I like Packdoll Terror, but I don't know if I'd splash black just for this. That's not enough. Midnight Mangler is fine at staying alive, but also the vehicle matters in this deck a little more. Completely off our deck, Gastall Thrill Seeker is an incredible card.
Yeah, Thrill Seeker is absurdly good at speed.
Yeah, because it comes in, turns on your speed, which, pulling up the core so you can see the Start Your Engines text. When you play a card with it, it goes to 1, and then when your opponent like loses life on your turn, it pumps. This is nothing.
Are you possibly able to play Walking Sarcophagus? You're likely not going to include it, but I mean it's a cheap Start Your Engines creature that
I'd rather have it than any other card. I think the Scurryfoot's the strongest thing in here, but that's too far off of what we're doing. Mangler.
Collision Course, Quick Welder, and Mangler.
I kind of like
I think
Mangler.
Mangler is what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like having a copy of Collision Course by the end is something I do want to have. The Destroy Target Artifact is pretty good on there, but like we have a couple cards that want us to have Artifact Count and Vehicles. Like I reverse those, Artifact Count and Vehicles. So like that makes the Midnight Mangler a little more valuable.
Yeah.
Same reason I'm going to grab the Skybox. I don't know that this is a card that gets included.
I don't think you're playing this, but it's
I don't think I'm playing any of these, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, vehicles are the more, like,
Light
likely.
wheel enhancements. Hold on. This
is an interesting one. It's +1/+1 Vigilance, and you can cast it from grave if you're at max speed.
Yeah, that's maybe playable for you, actually. If you... I want you to get, like, again, another 2 nesting bots. You can't force that, but...
Yeah, this is a... I feel this is later than this card should go. This card's a way more valuable.
I think people are underestimating how valuable that is.
We'll take the Wrangler. This is junk time. All right, pack 3, what do you got for us?
Ooh,
oh!
You did pick up that black fixing.
Oh, God,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay. That's tough.
Is there like a nesting bot in here that you could pick over it?
The other card in here would be like Glory Heath Lynx, which is quite good. This is like grab a planes on attack if saddled, which is like keeping an aggressive, like keeping your line going for lands. I'd also like to call out Haunt the Network as a card.
Haunt the Network is also really, really good.
Like, this is
it's a Tezzeret alt just for 5.
Yeah, this is the card I'm actually more likely to want to splash in here. I'm gonna grab Lynx and I'm gonna let one of those 2 come back because there's not 2 Dimir players. That's my thought process.
Lynx 2 is also really good, actually.
So the other thing about Lynx that I like is that it's a 2/3 lifelinker for 2. I don't feel bad about getting a second copy of a Lynx because this is a 2-drop that's quite real. 3 toughness is reasonable. The saddle on this, the second Lynx, put the cat
gets on top of the first link. Cat stack.
Cat stack, quite good. Swashbuckler, quite strong.
Swashbuckler.
What is this thing?
It's
wow, this sucks. Oh, that's no good. Yeah, okay, let's move away from that. I don't think you're that. Let's grab the other. Let's have the Rangers refueler instead. But
I think with this refueler specifically, I now officially like your deck. It's gotten to a point where you have like a strong curve out and like you've reached a critical mass of vehicles and artifacts in general.
Yeah, this is a lot of vehicles and like cards that are going to be like good at like when they are copied. I could use a couple more.
You could probably play the Interface Ace now.
You could play Interface Ace as a way to get some of these going. The thing with Interface Ace is that it mounts and saddle, or it mounts and cruise. So like you can work with the Lynxes now too. Having 1 copy of this, I'm not unhappy about. Spot Cycle Scouter's also like a lot better in our deck because of the Lifecraft engine can hand off.
It is the weakest vehicle in the format, though.
Yeah.
Like as far as like numbers on it.
Hello.
Memory Guardian, let's go.
This is
okay.
So back when Affinity was created as a mechanic in Mirrodin, we had a card called Somber Hoverguard, which was this mana cost for a 3/2 flyer, Affinity for artifacts. Wasn't an artifact because colored artifacts didn't exist back then. So we hand off 2 toughness to that, and we keep the affinity on it and make it an artifact. Super happy to have something like this. Flyers are really good at flicking out, like getting through the game in this. Like there's a good amount of reach, but evasion's still king from that. Yeah, this one doesn't really look like anything to me.
Spectral Interference actually does have a lot of targets. This is a solid, this is kind of an essence scatter, and it's slightly more versatile than that. Because no one's paying for.
Yeah, no.
It's not happening.
All right.
Bounce off for a
I like this. This thing's fine.
Yeah.
Save thing from removal, tempo play, gets a lot done. More Grim Baubles going around. Somebody's gonna have a fun time with the Fang Druid Summoner. Howler's heavy as a combat trick. Probably like that more than second enhancements. I probably don't.
Yeah, you're not even possibly playing the first one.
Yeah. Whereas this combat trick is quite good. I'd also like to call out the Omnivore for the Fang Druid Summoner. This is where we're gonna see if one of those black cards came around. No, we get another Rambler or Hole Drifter. I think I'm fine with a Hole Drifter for more card draw in this deck.
Yeah.
Alright, I can take Trip Up. Engine Rat's quite good. Kind of a lot of black going around, but I guess there was a lot of black in that last pack too, so just kind of a lot overall. Engine Rat is a card I like a lot because that Death Touch is really annoying to get over, and that late game ability is useful to have. Take the Raceway? I don't think I'm playing this.
You're not playing that. You actually have a lot of card draw in your deck.
Yeah, 2 Mole Drifters and a copy.
Voyage Home.
Yeah, copy of Voyage and 2 copies of the Refueler as well.
Yeah.
Which do stack if we get both of them. So. All right.
Yeah, you actually have a deck to build here.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to make cuts.
So we got Lynxes, Captains, Quick, Ride's End, Rambler.
I feel like aside from the captains, you can make your entire deck out of robots, vehicles, mounts.
Yeah. Drifters, Possession Engine, Voyage Home, Lifecraft Engine. I think Alright, what are we at? Like, wow, this curve's wacky. 8 and 9. With the Mole Drifters in the deck, I want the Interface Ace. Like the Lotus card Disciple in there as well. I'm gonna put the Mangler as a Stay Alive card. And then I don't touch lands until we're finished. Like, there's no point in touching lands until we're done because mana bases are gonna be in flux until we have the 40. I think then like the rest of this wants to be like cards that are like reasonable at interfering with a board.
Yeah. We're missing removal in this deck.
Yeah. We don't like. I'm willing to play like Sarcophagi as like a pilot. I feel like we need pilots. I know it's a zombie cat, but like, I feel like we just need, like right now, I think, 12 bodies. Obviously, like, there's, like, some of these are, like, Mangler and Refueler are both, like, vehicles that kind of crew themselves. Hole Drifter and Possession Engine do things other than be vehicles. Draw cards and such. I'm a little worried about this top end here, but I think
it is cheaper than it looks. Voyage Home is absolutely not going to cost 7. Most of these actually cost, if the Quick Welder is on the board, most of these actually cost 4. You know?
That helps a lot. Wouldn't have hated a second.
A Memory Guardian doesn't cost 5.
Yeah, this is never a 5.
2.
Yeah, this is never a 5. In this deck, this is probably like, we can get this on
going
3,
to cost,
right?
Like,
we can go like Nesting Bot 1, like any of our things on 2, and all of our 2s that aren't linked.
Your deck's actually not as top heavy as it looks, is what I'm saying. I think that it's actually lower in than it seems.
Okay, so I think then the question is, are we 8 and 8? And I think we kind of are, because there's this high double blue, but then there's like a lot of white in the middle range here.
Yeah, I think 8 and 8 sounds right, and then the Cove to finish it out, so you have 9 sources of both.
Again, so that, and then
you do have a genuinely large number of robots, so Lifecraft Engine is pretty good.
So let's go on this. We've got 5 robots, 3 pilots, 3 cats. Oh, Lynxes, right. So like robot is the most common here. Pilot has its moments as well where that would be callable.
Artifact vehicle 8. Let's go.
God. Like half of those self-crew. Or like in some manner. So like specifically when I actually mean half flat. The Midnight
It is
Mangler.
literally half of them.
Midnight Mangler self-crews. Rangers Refueler can self-crew. And the Broadcast Rambler comes with a pilot.
The Possession Engine also self-crews because you just crew the creature you steal.
So then, like...
actually, the vast majority of your vehicles
the
self-crew.
The ones that don't are the Hull Drifter and the Lifecraft Engine. The Lifecraft Engine is more of a...
That's more of a...
Anthem than...
You only really crew this when you have it, attack in with it.
Alright. We'll see how this goes. It's a little light on... Like, there's
interaction pieces.
Interactive elements. We might want to up that a little bit with, like, maybe the counter spell or try to get more bits going there. Creature types.
Douglas Bubble Traps.
Douglas. Huh. This has
fine playables, but
if we were on the play, I'd be a lot more reticent on this. But on the draw, that's 3 bites at a land, and a land gets this Quick Welder, Quick Welder and Disciple, which I think unlock the hand because then these are on 4. So like,
yeah, fair enough.
I think we're fine on the draw.
Okay.
On the play, I would.
On the play, I would at least very heavily consider and likely in. But on the draw, you can. Oh. Okay, that actually double helps because they
even funnier.
Grab planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, wonder what they topped at. Could be anything. All right, let's get that Lynx out here.
And you can crew the Lynx, saddle the Lynx with the Sarcophagus to guarantee the planes.
Correct. If they attack in, I'm not blocking. Because this has a 3 mana, like, tool away to... I'm still not blocking. I have lifelink, I don't care. I'm not giving you an out to, like, have...
Nice.
Okay, then this means we want to go with Quick Welder instead.
Yes, it is worth noting as well with the Goblin is that is tool up to 2. Yes. You don't actually have to do it if you don't want to, or you can even just do 1.
Lightning Strike. No, okay.
They let you attack with it, so you're getting the planes no matter what.
That's all I care about. If you have Lightning Strike, so I didn't block because there's a trick that's red X plus O and first strike. Okay, they're off color.
You get to flood the board super fierce next turn.
Yes. And we get to keep getting lands every turn with the Lynx. I think we're good now. Yeah. Our opponent has whiffed on land drops. I think we're just going to be taking them down pretty quick here. Let's go ahead and get, like...
Honestly, I would just play out Sarcophagus, Mangler, and keep Howler's Heavy up so you can, like, catch it mid-combat or something.
That sounds good to me. All right.
Like, you're going to get this planes off of the Lynx, and you won't feel bad about it at all. And...
I'm willing to attack in because we have up the 3/3 to block. This is excellent. Goddamn. Again, them missing that land drop sucks for, especially this Grease Wrench. This card's very good.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they actually did a really good job of managing the costs of exhaust abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all pretty reasonable to spend on. Okay, you've won at this point, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lotus Guard Disciple. Give Quick Welder lifelink and in. Disciple in. Combat.
You can, just swing all 3 of these.
Yeah. We're getting... The best part is that we have tutored our land drop 3 times running.
Yep. This Lynx is really good. This is just being an unambiguous, Plains tutor is so strong.
Taking my trade there because I'm willing to, like, block and see if they have a trick for the Mangler. I don't care. This game's over.
Yeah.
They're too far in the hole.
Yeah. So I mean, 2 players just kept a 2-lander, and only one of them drew lands.
Yeah, oh, did we?
Technically, you drew exactly one.
We drew one. We drew this island, and then every other plains we tutored. We drew this as well. I can't say it, like, this is the fact that we just get to keep moving forward on our land plays. Their opponent had loot sleeves. I didn't hover over them, but they had the.
So your deck is, as was pointed out, 20% truck by volume. But the thing is, you have the 2 mounts as well, which means that it is in fact 25%
Truck.
putting something on top of something else.
Trucks. We got. We got a truck.
We got trucks and cats.
20%. 20% trucks. 5% cats.
Yes. Well, it's a little more than 5% because you have
we have extra cat. We have the one other cat.
Yeah. 5+% cats. This is harder to keep.
Yeah.
You have 9 sources of blue in the deck. You are on the draw again. This is, I mean, it's also not actually even that good if you do get the blue. You get the refueler, and that's about it, really.
We get Howler's Heavy to like win in combats early, which is actually the more relevant early part here.
True, but this is a much more questionable keep than the last one.
Yeah. I think it's still over my line just barely because we do have enough. Like, I think that blue unlock on this is still quite powerful with the Howler's Heavy. I think that we are definitely playing with fire. Okay. Well, our opponent has no problems with colors on things here.
Their username also, I think, is a perfect Abzan card to print, you know.
Ooh, I love this thing. Bolt Tender's really good. Alright, so Tranquil Cove on top?
That would be the funniest result.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this exiles a card engraved for mana of any color. Oh god, alright, we are.
Ooh, that's concerning.
We're out the gates.
Okay, you got it.
We're fine. Yeah, this card's quite powerful.
Lifecraft Engine is a 4/4 when crewed, but cruise for 3,
Cruise for
right?
3, but if we name... Oh, God, I could name Cat, but, like...
Captain first.
Yeah.
Lets you put down the engine second.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Your opponent has not played any interaction yet, although they are in, you know...
So, mill a card.
Black.
Plow through. This card's quite good. Fight or destroy a vehicle. So they have access to the pump. I can't double block to kill. Not that I think I'd take that chance here anyway. We're just taking the hit. Best case is they just pump and have nothing else for the turn. Okay. We don't know what the Final Fantasy basics look like. Oh, wow, yeah. Pothole Mole.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Love this card. It's very good at, like, filling the grave and making sure you make land drops. Which, just what they're doing. So, like... This is, I've said it before, this is the mole that just hangs out on the Moo Moo Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. 2 to grave, they don't
Your
like...
opponent loves filling their grave, which I can respect. I'm right there with them.
Okay. I'm gonna go Lifecraft Engine. The immediate, like, So we're gonna pilot.
That's fair.
Because it pumps this. And also we have this 5/5 because the pilot pumps back.
Yes.
So... Next turn, we really want to be able to use, like, Howler's Heavy in combat or something like that to steal an advantage. We definitely...
I think your opponent is going to slam down Otchik next turn.
The Otchik for 3 right now?
Yeah, for 3. But
Yeah.
I mean, those insects that get played are like, they are extremely damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, we have a couple pieces that are fine against something like that. We want to, we really want to be able to, like, I kind of want to be able to advance this board and get the refueler down next turn if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Just pump mid combat is, but at the same time, like the Beast Rider would die to that, so they almost certainly have something else.
I'm not going to block on the Beast Rider. I'm going to block on the Pothole Mole.
That's fair.
They have,
Maybe they're the
they
one player
very...
playing the stuff. Ah, spin
okay,
out.
spin
Yep,
out.
okay.
Sure. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Annoying because, again, they untap their team, so we're taking the 6. That knocks out a lot of our maneuvering here. Land, 2 cards in hand. Fight spell. Fight spell kill captain would be. Ooh. Okay. Large. Okay. This is going to be refueler. And this is going to be try to use Howler's Heavy on the turn to buy us positioning.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the best we have right now. We have Bounce Off as well to try to, like, in case of fire. And then, like, the Rambler with this also is a big enough body to, I think, buy the board back. So we're in a tense position here, but not an untenable position here.
You're not dead yet, and your opponent has played out most of their, deck.
The art on this is a token that exists in packs. You get this, like, Start Your Engines token. It has all of the, like, racers on it for our different factions. And a couple factions a couple times over. But that's like you get that as like a token in a card pack. If they have a kill spell for Refueler, I think that's their best position for us. Or for them, not us, obviously. We have a lot of trouble dealing with the board. We just have a lot of trouble dealing with the board here. That the Beast Rider has 4 mana pump. Mill a card. What are you doing? What's the 8th card in your grave do?
Putting us at Threshold Plus.
I see.
Okay, they just were getting...
tapping it for its final point of value.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can threaten, still threaten a decent block here. And we're gonna take it. Oh, frick. No, we can't take it. Ooh, okay. So the problem is, if I go double block on the Beast Rider 1, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's lethal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to anyway. And then bounce the Gravestalker. We take 5. They don't get to replay this turn. They don't have the mana for it. We don't... I had to bounce that rather than Howler's Heavy for -3 damage, specifically because Howler's Heavy for -3 damage doesn't remove this Gravestalker from the board. And, like, in order for us to get through this, we need to get the Rambler. Yeah, this is 1. Doesn't have any evasion, so, like, that's okay. All right. Keep buying us back in.
Doing our best.
We're trying.
Yep.
All right. Ow, ow.
I think you make the trade you have to. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like it, but I also don't see any route that isn't that. If they have another body...
Okay, they're just gonna go. See,
Yeah,
this is a player who recognizes the power of this thing.
And then
to
they
be
play
able to
land
play your
and
Gibberick back.
Omnivore.
Yeah.
We just don't have the like, we don't have time, right? We just don't
Yeah.
have time for this. Yeah. Okay.
That's it. This was a question we'll keep to start with.
Yeah.
The fact that we managed to make it this far off of that is, you know, pretty good.
Yeah, the problem we ended up against was that our opponent had, like, just a very strong front foot to go off of, specifically off this. The Beast Rider is very hard for what we had to match. We weren't able to put up a defense against that for some time. All right. Let's go for 3. The opponent understood they were the beatdown. Our 1-drop needs to show up. Our 1-drop is so powerful. I can't stress how good that card is. Okay. This draws very well into almost anything that forwards our game plan. Anything early, we have the line 4. Quick Welder means any of our top end we get to play on 4 pretty easily. Like, and Voyage Home means that the long game is ours as well. So, pretty happy with what this looks like. Okay. Ooh, they get the treasure off the tortoise. They don't have further follow-up. Okay. I'm gonna offer this trade if they want. We also have bounce off if I wanted to do something with this too, but like, we already have a blocker for their attacker, so I don't feel like we need to be defensive there. Green-black is the... Ooh, okay. Then they get the... Oh my god. Wait a minute. Target creature an opponent controls. Damn, okay. I'm gonna believe. You don't have it. Land 3's fake. You don't have it. Okay. Sure. All right. We have our own issues, but that's fine. Ah, there's land 3. Okay, fine. If they want to trade off their Monodork. Alright. So, Mendicant Core. Now we've got... So, problem is they have, like, a full grip.
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest maybe actually possession engineing, stealing their Manadork.
We can't... Target
Oh,
creature. That was...
Target creature.
That was the
Okay.
thing I checked.
Well, Pact Altera being stolen is also pretty good, because its abilities would still go off, right? It's just that it can't attack or block.
Yes.
That's a memory garden that costs just blue.
I think I want to hold it. We're very close to speed up.
I see. Okay.
I think I want a possession engine. The Pactol. But I think all we need to do is hit next turn, and we can use the... This doesn't remove text, it just can't attack or block. This, however, is whenever you cast, so we need another artifact to come in for the Pactol Terror. Okay, sadly... I was gonna say if we could like get the nesting bot killed, it would trigger the terror, but demonic junker. Oh, that's terrifying. Yeah, because they're gonna get this is a Necrotol that also gets to be a 6-power. Body. Yeah. That's that turns this one pretty on a dime here.
You do have a great chump blocker for it for a while.
Yeah.
Unless it has menace. I don't know if it has any evasion.
No, it doesn't.
It's not.
I think I'm gonna hold back this 2/4. That holds back this pile. Yeah, affinity on that. Damn, one
Doom
more.
Travelers are still to this day extremely good.
Yep. So I'm fine chumping here. Oh.
Hull Drifters would be nice.
Yeah, well, Drifters would be a pretty strong draw here. Yeah, that gets us to max speed, but we aren't on Medicant Core anymore. Yeah, they get to push in there. Oh, I love that.
Your opponent is working so well off of 3 lands.
Yeah,
Damn.
We're well, we're having problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're dead to just what is in their hand. They probably just cast 2 artifacts.
Like I'm trying to highlight the fact that your opponent's deck is going off really well.
I'm impressed by like this. This is a card that I think does a lot of good. They never drew that 4th land.
Yep. They didn't need it. They just needed the 3rd.
Mana Bike, yeah. That card's quite reasonable. Yeah, I was hoping again if we could. I was hoping to get Medicant to flip because having Medicant going off and doubling all our artifact plays is enough to, I feel, turn any corner. I really want to get a game where we get to get Medicant to work. That's my goal with this deck.
Well, I mean, Metabike at that point, it could have very well just have been a forest. And would have done the exact same thing.
Alright. This is fine. Midnight Mangler actually gets to attack for 4 on turn 3 here with God's Fire Captain. Like really, we get to press with this freaking thing, which is pretty fun. All right. 3 colors. Let's press. Get the aggression moving on. Oh. They're back.
Very technically, and I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't do this. The Mangler should have briefly become not a creature, and then become a creature again.
I'm gonna press. So 4th land, very heavy black. Are we seeing like a second pack doll? We could see that vehicle stock up. Oh boy. Oh. This card's very powerful. I don't feel incorrect comparing it to literally Fact or Fiction.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time, 2 cards is what you get off of Fact or Fiction.
Yeah.
Off of, looking at 5.
Okay, so let's go Rambler. Crew 2. That leaves us with still crewing the 6/5 as a blocker. And next turn we have Hull Drifter to try to draw us a little deeper into some action. Obviously, knowing when you cast stock up, we know our opponent's on a strong grip. Wrath of God, what are you doing? Oh, we just need a lot of blue.
Yeah, they're just making sure that they tap blue.
Yeah.
There. Makes sense.
So then they get.
I'm thinking that the white is a splash, or possibly something like Medicant.
Whatever. Something like that, or a black white artifact liker of some kind.
Or maybe they got one of the Gear Hulks.
Ooh. Okay, we are optimizing. Our opponent is optimized for mana.
I actually quite like the new Gear Hulk cycle. I think that they feel like more appropriately balanced towards each other.
Oh boy.
I see.
These do tap into that. Okay. I think I still need to be aggressive at this opponent. I need to run, like, the vehicles I do have into them. I probably want to just play the refueler here. Because we can activate it on the end step as well, draw off that, and then keep moving.
Yeah, fair.
Alright.
Full court press.
Just keep going.
They probably don't want a double block. That kills their Packdoll terror, but...
Yeah. I'm fine with getting rid of any of the optimizers so that they have less... Okay, if they're willing to throw the Mindspring Merfolk away, I feel a little better.
Yeah, that removes their resock. That's very nice.
Yeah, okay. So we got the refueler. We can bring that down. Yeah, they don't get to draw 7? Merely...
They get to draw 3.
Merely 3, okay.
So that's why...
They were fine. That's why they were fine. That's why they were fine throwing them away. They also do have 2 draw on Aether Siphon right now. We have 28 cards in deck. We're nowhere near problems for that. Hello. Packdoll. Everybody's on this thing, and it's real as hell.
I understand why. It's really good. It's just that, you know, like... I'm seeing this guy everywhere. I'm sick of seeing this guy.
Yeah.
How do people keep on getting these in multiples? When we could only find one nesting bot, in our entire draft.
Okay, they're able to realize that they can't attack in. Okay. Is that good?
I mean, it's another...
This is a common versus an uncommon, yes.
Oh, okay, fair.
I can't hold Drifter and Lifecraft in the same turn.
Lifecraft pumps all of your vehicles by +1/+1 if you choose pilot, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So from here, we want to go... Thopter might have been a good choice there, too, just for the evasion. Where am I? Okay. I have to like make sure I know where I am in the turn. Okay. That's fine by me. So they get to draw off their Aether Siphon. I'm doing this keeping the 5/5 around as a blocker because 11 is a bit of a scarce life total when they have 8/9 power in play. Like, that's a bit of a worry. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. They're at 8.
All you gotta do is survive 3 turns, baby.
Okay, draw 1 million cards. Okay, yeah.
I mean, hell, actually, this whole Drifter can block the Speed Demon, can't it?
Yes. We want to play the Tranquil Cove because my life point there actually matters. And then we want... Refueler?
Bot lets you, no, that thing just died, so never mind. Lets you just double crew with it. I
I'm gonna go with nesting bot in case we need the defense from this. No longer can attack. So if they hit us with the speed demon, like, then they draw 4. The Pactol Terror means that they likely won't be at 1, they'll be at like 3 at the end of this turn. We're in a way here.
we just hope our opponent bobs themselves to death, really.
If they hit you, they'll be down to 1, but Pactol is a drain life, and they have a million cards in hand. I feel like Pactol is triggering multiple times in this turn. If they activate Gear Seeker and attack, I think they just die. Like, I don't think they can activate Gear Seeker right now. The problem is they don't have, like, with the Speed Demon in play, they don't have time. Though Pactol could give them. Okay, Hellish Sideswipe. So we're going to go ahead and use the Captain to pilot the Drifter. Let me think on that. I'm going to leave the Drifter uncrewed so it's a little bit more resilient to removal, because it being usable as removal is more important to me. Or it being usable as an attacker here.
Yep,
Take 5. Take 5. No blocks. We can't kill it. Take 5, no blocks. Alright. Speed 4. So now they're losing 4 life end step. Pactol again can gain them life back. They have 1,000,000 mana. That's going to copy Pactol. And they're going to use that to get through. Yeah, I don't think we can kill from this position.
Yeah, that's a number of drains on you.
Yeah. Hell, they have us dead? Yeah, again, that's the power of Pactol. Everyone has 1,000,000 copies of this thing. All right. We have 4 in the air, and they're at 5.
You have another captain.
Okay.
If you had drawn it, the captain, because you have 2 captains in your deck, you would have been able to just kill off that.
We're not out of draws
yet.
Can,
yeah, you can dig for it.
So we want to cycle you. We're dead the moment they untap because Pactol Terror is going to kill us.
Yes.
Oh, is that Anthem on the...
Hold on. Each creature you control, because vehicles... Oh, is it when they are creatures? Yeah.
Oh, God,
Never mind, you have 5 in the air.
Okay. So then we just go crew the whole Drifter.
Yeah, hold on. I just...
Yeah, because I'm counting on the visuals.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Thank you for that. I also missed that because I was...
Like, I mentally
they did too.
It got plus 1, but then I realized, but it's not visually a 4/3 over there, so I didn't realize. Yeah, it's only when it's a creature, because it doesn't have creature type until it's a creature.
That's so weird. Okay, because the difference is the visual for the Cloudspire Captain did give it that visual +1/+1.
Because it just says vehicles get +1/+1.
That's a fun. So I think our opponent also, each creature of the creature. Oh my God, yeah. Our opponent also
they're
died
not
to that.
creatures until they're creatures. That makes sense.
I'm pretty sure our opponent made the exact same calculus, right? Like they saw 1 + 3 counted their life total. Okay, that. Oh my god.
Wild.
Deja vu.
I can't believe I've been to this place before.
Yeah. Thank you. I was just looking at that. I'm like, what do we still have? Because it's like we can still cycle the car in hand.
This is better, yeah.
Still
purely because it has a creature early on, and
I don't like the look of it because interfacing alone
either.
is quite bad, but we don't have much else. Okay, Gruul.
Zero 4 lifelink. Let's go.
Get in. Yeah. Yeah.
Not taps anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, that was completely free. Welcome back, Blake. Okay, happy about that.
Yeah, that's solid. That's also something to actually crew with the ace.
Yeah. I don't... The fact that they've missed 2 and 3 drops, I'm not bouncing that. That's not worth the bounce.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's very clear they have, like, top end. And I want to use this for, like, a mana advantage or a board advantage. So they've got 5.
Hazard.
They got dunes. Yep. Then like pilot.
That's a great thing to balance when it they start to invest into it.
Yes. All right.
I think it's maybe better to turn that into a 4/4 and draw a card.
Yeah.
Leave up, bounce off. Can't attack with the Lotus Guard Disciple.
Yeah. This thing has reach.
Mm-hmm.
6th land. All right. I can't send dunes yet. Sure. 3/3. No text. Fine by me. 3/2. Also no text. Fine by me. And if they come in with the hazard, I would just trade. Okay. Hey, Hole Drifter. Alright, let's get card. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted to see off that, which was an island. This means we can, like, threaten.
You have actually, with that card, you've evened up, like, board state is relatively even, and, cards in hand are also pretty even.
Yeah, and we're going to be able to, like, mana advantage back, like, with Voyager on our end. Okay. Interesting. Do they not have the 6th land?
That would be nice.
Okay.
Quick Welder, Hull Drifter, like...
Yeah, this drops the bounce, but this gets Hull Drifter down.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
There we go.
Okay.
That's 2 good gets off of that, honestly.
Yeah.
You got 2 robots on the field right now.
So the thing is, we're gonna want to, like, try to speed up to get Medicant going. Like, it's quite late, but Medicant, the big thing is that Medicant just has, like, 5 power. Sure. This thing has, when you exhaust, pick it up, it's just a 4/2 other than that.
Livecraft Engine is also going to give all 3 of your robots on the field afterwards +1/+1. So.
Yes. Okay.
Including your flyer.
So let's go Medicant first. Let's go Lifecraft naming robot.
Yes. You have 3 robots on the field right now.
Robot. And then I'm gonna bring Hull Drifter in.
Yeah. Your opponent can't invest in on the Herald, even next turn, because it's a 7 to do Herald, right? For tossing? Yeah.
They have 6 right now. If they play a land, they'll get to it because they've got the bike. But this is also 4 power, so.
You can definitely play out your hand, basically.
Yeah. I don't know that I want to play Walking Sarcophagus.
That's fair.
I'm literally, it might be better as 2 pieces of metal later.
Mm-hmm.
At least, like, in this position, I don't feel, especially with this. Okay, so there's the dunes, which we can, like... The thing is, like, Medicate threatens a trade? Like...
Yeah.
I will block with the 5/5 on it, because that much better gets them to, like, invest. Okay. A lot of bodies I just don't care about here.
You could block it with both the 5/5 and the 3/5 with Howler's Heavy, and like then it will only be able to take out the 3/5.
Yeah, that's why they're not even coming in.
Yeah, not even. They wouldn't be able to. Actually, that would just be a clean trade for like.
Yeah, that's a clean trade. So again, we're gonna hold Drifter in. They get to end step.
God, Interface AS can pilot anything right now.
What are we looking at? Crash and burn.
Could save it.
I could save the engine, which I might want to. This thing's pretty good.
And on top of that, you could... I mean, they're going to put the Herald of the Dunes in front of it. You could save the Herald as well.
We can also just...
Sorry,
we can also just bounce the hazard.
Yeah, and that would let you swing in. That gets you to 3 speed. They'd have to replay that.
I'm gonna go this route. So we lose our Anthem. We have more Anthems in the deck. That's fine.
Yep. You have 2 more, in fact.
Okay. Speed 3. Now they get to replay their dunes. I'm looking at just like both flyers in. I might be willing to just sack one of them for... I'm gonna take that hit. I don't really care too much about that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, hold on. 4 to activate this?
They do have that right now.
I'm in the mood to draw cards right now. Are we heavy on lands?
You know, I'm actually thinking that.
I've been worried about it.
Slightly heavy on lands. Like this deck.
I've been worrying about it.
In a lot of cases, this deck should actually functionally top out at 4. You know?
Alright, so we're gonna lose one of our flyers. I don't care.
It might also be afraid. You played some, no, okay, they're not afraid.
Yeah. Alright.
Medicate Core lets you, just double artifacts, plays, right?
Indeed!
Yeah.
For one.
And Medicate Core is now a 10-3.
And also the sarcophagus are 1 mana 3/3s.
Yep.
Alright. Good. Next turn we're moving in. Like, Yeah, that's the power of the Medican core. Fireball, huh?
Boommobile. Fireball.
So they've got blaze for 1, 2, 3, 4. They can blaze for 5.
That's not a huge amount. That kills Medikit Core is like the only major really relevant thing.
Which obviously they should take.
You've already gotten a lot of value out of it.
They're eternally.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Like, imagine if we draw a Hull Drifter off the top, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they get back the buddy. I think we're pushing. I think we're counting damage and turning sideways next turn.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you draw one of your 2 captains.
Yeah.
In which case you just go like, ah, yeah, Mathis are blockers.
Dreadful. We've got 6 blockers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attackers. Crew 2 on that, goddamn.
Yeah, the Boommobile's really good.
I don't know that go-in is worth it. I'm looking at what the blocks are. We get through for like 4 damage, and our opponent eats the entirety of our board effectively for free.
You can swing in. I mean, the 2, 5.
No,
that's the Boommobile is actually really good. Yeah, it's good on defense here.
Yeah. We're looking for an Anthem. The Hazard of the Dunes also can't come in because there's just too many free bodies to block a 7/7.
Yeah.
Okay. A 4/4 dragon. Pretty decent.
Which worth noting though at the same time, you actually can block that in the air still. This is what we were talking about earlier, by the way, of this is a format that gets board stally.
Yeah, welcome to it. Like, neither of us, like, I don't think either of us can make a real attack with much presence here. Like, maybe they can use that Afterburner expert and try to, like, grind us out. That's maybe the best I see on their options, because they can use, they can use the Draconaut's Engineer and the Hazard of the Dunes to rebuy it for, like, so they might just push in with that. Yeah, and they identified that pretty cleanly.
Do kind of strongly appreciate this, though, of simply Aetherdrift is, because I just brought it up, it's one of my favorite kinds of formats, which is to say it's slow, but you still make interesting decisions on the turns that you're playing, you know? Mm-hmm. Even if that interesting decision is, I have to do math every single turn to figure out if I can attack yet.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We're never attacking. How are we winning this game? Okay, well,
that helps. That's step one.
Step 1, get me a Hull Drifter. We've used Hull Drifter 1, we've used Voyage, so this is our last. Okay.
So here's the thing. The thing that you really, really need in this deck is that return artifacts to the field spell that you don't have.
We also just don't have a, like, I'm trying to think how we board break here, how we, like...
Yeah, your board breakers are gone. That's the thing. You had flyers, and, like, you can still buff this flyer with, You can still buff this flyer, is the thing. But the problem is that they have a reach creature that just will be able to kill it no matter what, you know? So I don't know how you bust this board at this point. Like...
So they have 2 rebuys on the Afterburner Expert. They can use the Engineer Haste, or they can use the Hazard of the Dunes. I don't think I want to let it in repeatedly, but I also don't like losing.
I think that might actually be part of why green is good in this format, is just by virtue of having the largest creature. That's a way to get a board buster through.
Okay.
Hold on.
Stealing Dunes?
Stealing Dunes, yeah.
So, like, that gets Dunes out of here. We still have the Ketrodon to deal with.
Yes, and that's not that much better, but, you know, it's something. You do also have one more removal spell.
Yeah, we do have
You've not played the Exile. So long as you get their blockers for your flyer out of the way, that's something.
Yeah.
They're going to activate the
Obviously
exhaust on this to get their the expert back. Makes sense.
This one's pretty straightforward.
That also makes sense.
Okay.
You do secretly have so many blockers because of the vehicles.
Yeah. Now, once you're top deck, you're just gonna slam it. Like, you're not holding, unless it's like a basic land or a trick, you're not slamming, you're not, there we go, okay.
That's something.
That's
not enough still.
No, it isn't. It doesn't actually, what it does do is it lets us get in with these broadcast ramblers.
Yeah, and they can trade with them if they want to, and that, like, simplifies the board state if nothing else. Mainly, what they'll trade with is they'll get rid of the Boommobile at this point.
Hopefully.
You know. I mean, it's not doing much on their board aside from blocking these.
The problem is that I do need to start doing this.
Yeah, so you need to simplify the board, because if you don't, then this is just never finishing. Because you've drawn more than they have. You are the one who's at threat of decking out if this ends up being an, a forever board stall. Okay, they're using that to kill what?
I think that's killing the... I can't see. I assume it's
Targeting
the pilot.
Clyde Spire Captain. The captain, yeah.
I assume it's the captain, but I literally can't see it. Okay. Because then they get to eat one of the broadcast. They get to eat both the Ramblers now. Yeah, that sucks.
Yep.
That's our whole board of aggressive pieces gone. I think that's actually the point that turns this game. I don't know how we win the game. I don't see it. I'm sitting here like racking my brain over the rest of the deck, and I don't see it.
Rough that they drew that on the very same turn that you drew one of the only ways it could get in.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't. What are we looking for then? What are we? What are? I'm looking to top deck the removal spell for the Ketrodon so my flyers can get in.
That's a lifelinker.
Yeah, and they got another exhaust for the rebuy. I wonder if this card works now. I know this thing was bugged on release to have some problems. Problem is now they can just make dragons every turn. So their late game engine is very strong. A lot of like moving pieces that really work together well.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... The problem isn't even that we're dead. The problem is that... even if we weren't dead... I do this a lot. A lot of my board state evaluation of trying... I've been talking about this for like 5 turns, so you probably understand this. A lot of my board state evaluation of trying to figure out, like, okay, what are we doing? What's our forward game plan to win? I don't think there's a series of cards left in our deck that do it.
Yeah, especially not with the dragons is the thing. The dragons is like definitely going to... Your one thing was getting rid of the Ketradon for the Helldrifter to be able to like attack, but that's not enough anymore. You know, you don't have additional removal spells. You don't have... I think you have one more pilot that would have given +1/+1 to the Helldrifter. That still trades with the dragon. You know, you no longer have any flyers to get in after that point. I do think you are in fact cooked, like mathematically, in your deck now.
Yeah, because like our deck right now is 2 lands, removal spell, a second anthem, that 1/1 that holds down the fort, I think, is still hanging out in the deck. Just like there's not enough gas to get across the finish line in this.
Yeah, unfortunately, we ran out of gas in the race. We aren't gonna get exploded like JP at the end of Lifeline to get across the finish line.
We don't have any, don't have anything left over. Because, yeah, it's like 2 lands, another Lynx, a 1-drop, a removal spell.
There's the removal spell, but the removal spell just isn't enough at this point.
Yeah, this is a million years late. Surprised to see that at the end of the day, the finishers were the issue with this. We needed to have like a little bit more. Like, I don't know if we had passed up any Gear Seeker Serpents. That's a card that absolutely is one of those that like fixes the problem of how do you get across the finish line.
Yeah.
This buddy's pretty good. There's a couple dragons.
I think our deck was cool still, but I am feeling that there is like
I got my goal.
We just learned about. Yes,
I got that's what I care about at the end of the day is that we got to meet the goal of the deck. The goal of this deck, specifically in my mind, was getting to
activate Medicant Core, right?
Yeah, activating Medicant Core to copy things, and.
Hey, for what it's worth, doing that is why that game lasted for as long as it was. You would have lost much earlier if you'd only had one of those, you know,
right,
of both creatures.
Our pile of broadcast ramblers.
I do think that this draft actually revealed to us, like, there's definitely like a mathematical breakpoint in this format that you need to be able to get over. You need to be able to beat, I'm going to say 6 toughness on the board.
Like, you need to be gumming up. Well, one of the things is, so our opponent was very gummed up, and so were we. We were gummed up in different ways, where, like, we didn't have, like, 12 blockers. We had, like, 8+ vehicles that we could turn on to be better blockers with the Ramblers. Yes. So, like, they had a bunch of 3/3s that could never move. They just had enough material on the board to prevent us from turning our thing sideways. And I think that's why that, like, gumminess of the board is part of what makes, like there's a number of bits in green that I think are really powerful. And there are a number of bits that I'm actually really impressed with in blue in this set for similar reasons. For being able to not gum up a board, but, like, reveal through a gummed up board and also still plant their feet in the board,
Yeah.
I mean, that's also, yeah, you bring up the, like, our opponent had, like, mana sinks and spenders, whereas we had, like, one-time draw effects and weren't able to, like, really make any use of. We didn't have, like, what's the Mario? I forget I don't actually think that Mario is a very great card, but something like that, where it's like, okay, here's a late, like, a mana sink, especially when, like, we just ended up with a lot of mana by the end of times. That's fine. I'm still really happy with Benekid Core, and there are a lot of bits in here that I thought were really nice. I still, like, Nesting Bot is one of my best buddies in this. The refuelers do a huge job, especially in multiples. I guess we weren't using this to any real strong effect. Like, this exhaust draw as an engine, the refuelers are the only exhaust card in this deck. So, like, we don't have ways to keep drawing off of them. They're just one-shots. And the lack of an engine in that way, I think did a lot of harm to us, whereas, like, our anthems just weren't enough to push over the line in a lot of instances. Anyway, let's close this one up.
The problem is that individual anthems are individually weak to, removal that kind of blow out your math pretty hard. For example, like, oh yeah, I got this this +1/+1 on my team that is going to let me swing through the current state of the board. Unfortunately, they just killed it, and then all of a sudden you're getting, 2 for 0'd,
Yeah, but yeah, like, Serpent is one of those things that's like a board breaker to have in your deck. We've established that, like, flying is around and very necessary, but, like, not as powerful when there's a lot of these green reach creatures and opposing flyers to have about. God.
Spectacular Pileup is...
This Wrath...
This is a wildly good Wrath that, at the very least, will be significantly less frustrating to play against than Sunfall.
Yeah, Sunfall is, like, on my short list of cards that I don't think are outside of, like, the range of, like, this is a card you can print. It's outside of the range of a card you should print.
Yeah.
Like,
it feels so awful to play against Sunfall.
I don't think Sunfall is, like, busted. I think it's wrong. I think it it makes every other Wrath unprintable. Like, in like, power level, this, there's never a reason why I would choose to play Pileup over, like, oh, sorry. It's like 90-10. Like, there are a world, like, you have to print such powerful things to match what Sunfall is, and if you start having that as your line rather than the outlier, that's when you actually create legitimate power creep. Because the power creep, in my mind, is less like, you remember when Grizzly Bear used to have a drawback? Like, that's true, but, like, it's more like raising the floor, right? Like, and Sunfall, the existence of Sunfall takes the floor, and if you want to use that to be comparable to Print 2, you pull it up, right? So, like, Pileup here does what it does because it's competing in that space. Cycling on it, Indestructible Piercing on it, vehicles. I don't know that it would have had all three in an era before that.
But even with that, as powerful as all of this text is, again, I still would rather play against this any day of the goddamn week.
Sure. Like, well, you can...
You can recover from it. Right. Is the thing, I think.
Your opponent doesn't get a 6/6 for it, and it doesn't exile everything. Like, yes, it pierces Indestructible, but, like, you get your death triggers. You get your,
yes.
you can play around it.
The advantage, of course, for them is that it's actually way easier to include a Wrath. You can honestly include this in almost any white deck.
Yeah, you can
because that's cycling too.
Yeah. And, like, you might play it over, like, the reason I say there's a world you might play it over Sunfall is if, like, all of a sudden vehicles were a thing you, like, necessarily needed an answer to. but
Yeah.
like that's why it's like more 90-10. I don't know. It's a very short list of cards that I think are like just this is a push that you shouldn't have done. And literally, I think one hand, and it's different than just saying this card is busted or this card is too much. It's more like this can't be the line. Veil of Summer is another one that comes to mind. If Veil of Summer is but like that one is more of a like nearly a return to form, and like what if we have a color hoser that's so nuts,
unreasonably effective at being a color hoser against those two colors.
Yeah, that might be a different style of mistake, actually, thinking about it out loud, because like I don't think that's a floor. I think that's just like we learned 30 years ago that like you shouldn't have like color hoses of that level are like a little wild. Anyway, that's gonna be it for tonight. We got some good time, and I'm glad we got to take a lot of time to
talk about the Final Fantasy
stuff. Ooh, neat stuff in here. Talk about the Final Fantasy stuff. Really happy about that, and very happy to get a draft. Like I've wanted to get this blue-white draft, like, and we had one before where we did the car stuff, which. I know that one went 7 wins, but it felt more like it was doing a sillier bit. Maybe that's stronger than what we were pulling off. So, anyway, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Doc, for jumping in. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, no worries. I woke up only about 6 hours ago.
Okay.
So I was in an interesting mood in general today.
Yeah. So... But yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for joining. If you want to catch more, follow, subscribe. Thank you for those who did. Thank you, Malamet, for the sub. We got Dragon Warrior Wednesday coming up tomorrow. Going to be over on CoBuddy's stream on Thursday. And then we're working on a time that's going to work for Battle Network. That one's going to have to adjust a little bit. I don't exactly know where that one's moving to, but... If you follow, you'll know when it happens. So, anyway, thank you all for joining. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one.